village near in the Otapi constituency. So during our discussion with Inspector Kunga added that the woman was wearing an orange T-shirt, a black trousers, black shoes, and long gray socks. She added that the suspect, I'm quoting her, we are suspecting that the victim has been killed with an unknown strategy, and the suspect left her body in the bushes, which was discovered later by the members of the community who alerted the police, and her body has decomposed. She further said the police is suspecting the woman was raped and dumped because of the vehicle's tire print, which was seen at the scene. Or either she's saying that someone drove near the victim's body, although the police are busy with the investigations. Anna Kunga is urging the members of the community in the villages around Utapi, such as Ohambalanganga, Ombajele, Omnyele village, Omkoko, and the surrounding areas in Umsati region who have a missing family member since last week Thursday to visit Utapi police station, or either to contact the following numbers. That is Detective Chief Inspector Mwanyangapo on 081-655-9966. Inspector Mwanyangapo can be contacted in regard of a missing person on 081-655-9966. And also Detective Sergeant Kashinyenga on 081-2453-825. 081-2453-825. That is for Detective Sergeant Kashinyenga. That is in connection of if anyone have a relative, especially a woman that has gone missing since last week Thursday, the police has reported in Umsati. And Andrew, also we are getting two said reports from Oshana region that we got from the spokesperson of Oshana Police, that is Thomas Ayambo, where he reported that it's alleged that a disease who is a male, 24 years, his name is known to Eagle FM, but it's not announced yet. He has an epilepsy history. He was found dead in the water. Ayambo said it's suspected that the disease collapsed and fell in the water. His body was found lying in the water by a small child that informed the elders about the incident. The next of kin are informed, however, no inquest is opened yet because the police is saying that they were advised by the colleagues from the mutual that they are waiting for autopsy to be conducted. The second incident, it happens in the area of, I'm sorry, the one that I reported now, it was reported in Namtai near Ongwediva. The second incident in Oshana was reported at Sky Phase 1 in Ongwediva. Also, that it's alleged that a deceased young Paul Ambabi, he is 8 years old, was catching frogs with his friend, who is also 8 years old. According to the friend, his friend fell in water. The disease fell in water in a sewage trenches. So and he went to rescue his friend, but he failed. Ayambo further said a woman staying nearby the sewage trencher then saw Festus in the water, and so now the friend Festus, the disease Festus is the name Festus, and they removed him from the water and told people that to rescue him, and that of a friend who is the disease Yakono, who was underwater. So but then they didn't manage to rescue the disease. So the police divers were summoned, and then they have to remove his lifeless body. The next of kin were informed also. So the police investigation is underway. But here, Thomas Ayambo is also cautioning parents to just make sure that the kids should not be around the water, especially this days, especially in the area of the northern regions. We are receiving a lot of rain. Kids should be accompanied by either parents or people that can save them or guard them during or to curb such incidents as it occurred in Oshana.
That's right. Okay. Thank you very much, Helen. Quite disturbing reports that we're getting there, and we hope for the best in that regard.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good day. And that is what we're getting right there from my colleague Helen in the north, just giving us an update of some of the incidences that have been reported by the police. It's exactly 10 minutes past the hour of 1 o'clock. You continue to listen to On the Radar right here on Eagle FM. And just in regard, still on the topic of crime and what has been happening, the regional commander of the Namibian police, that is Ishmael Basson, was earlier this morning giving an update on the crimes, particularly looking at the issue of the heroin that was confiscated from a 22-year-old South African national at the Hosea Kutako International Airport, in which about 2.4 million worth of heroin was confiscated through efforts by the police and the NAMRA officials right there. And he also provided an update with regards to the Nedbank robbery, in which some millions were also stolen. Let's just take you through what the Commissioner Ishmael Basson was saying.
Very good morning again. We want to brief the public out there and show them, and also warn them at the same time in regards to how drugs is actually nowadays entering our country. What we have here is a bag, and somebody was arrested at the Hosea Kutako International Airport when he lands. It was then detected at the machines that there is something suspicious. So what happens is this person, when he came in, he opened this one. There's something here. All these 5 parcels was put in here. In other words, when you open the bag, you can't see from inside that there is something inside, unless it's detected by machines. So, and you have to show you how the bag looks inside like this. So you can't see. This one is kept. You can't see something unless it's detected here. So, and that is how only after detection we realize there's something suspicious. We have to call in the dogs, and then the dogs then, with close inspection, we found that there is 5 parcels in the compartment of the bag. What we have here is heroin. On landing at the international airport, as I said, a male person was arrested, South African citizen, was then arrested, having carried all this. This is only to destroy the human beings, and mostly the young people of nowadays. So it is very serious. It's a concern, and we are calling on the public out there to please to assist in identifying similar substances, which is very dangerous to the public out there, and particularly these substances is destroying the youth. That is the youth, the leaders of tomorrow. Those are the most victims that go through these ones. Yes, I think that is what it is. That is the bag. And unfortunately, this person is arrested, and he will appear today in court at Windhoek Police Station, Windhoek Court. Yes, that is it on the drugs. And the value is about 2 million. 2.4 million. That is the value of this substance, heroin. It's a lot. Remember, this is just what we detect. How many come through without being undetected? And it's flooding the streets. It's flooding the schoolyards. It's destroying houses, families, young people. So it is really a concern. It is a big concern to the law enforcement, and I'm sure it should be a concern to every law-abiding citizen. Thank you very much. Yes.
Actually,
Yes.
is that pure heroin? Or
Yes.
Has it been tested? Is it pure?
It is tested. It's pure heroin, drugs. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Vito Gray from Republican. What's the weight?
The weight is 5. What is it? The weight is 4,965 grams. 4,965 grams.
Thank you, sir. And I also wanted to ask, is there a market for that here in Namibia, or was it perhaps for...
The market is basically, definitely, I don't know, yes, there's a market, because our people are going through that. Our houses are being destroyed, kids are not going to school because of drugs. There is a market all over, but we cannot certainly say where it was what is the final destination. But what we say, it was detected and intercepted at the Kotago International Airport. Yes.
Commissioner, I'm Emil Stages, a reporter from the NGC. For a layman, how is this used? How is this administered? And in this bag, this time, what is there?
This was the different parcels. We just put it in one bag. So these are the yeah, five parcels. We then now was then put in one bag. Yes.
And just the last question also, do we know the age of the guy that was arrested?
What is the age?
22.
22. He's a young man. Yes.
Was he being used as a mule, or was he...
But that is we need to investigate. Whether it's a drug mule or is knowing it, transporting it. Somebody was supposed to pick him up, but he don't have a return ticket. He was coming to Namibia. So whether he will get a ticket from here, wherever he goes, we don't know. But he was only coming to Windu.
So is that the one that you sniff, or how does one use this?
Yes. You snuff and you actually inject through the veins, yes.
Ms. Ross from Energy 100. Just to clarify, is he going to be appearing today or tomorrow?
Today. And he's already at court by this time.
Okay.
He's already at court. Magistrate court, yes. He's already at court. If you want to see him, you will find him, he's there. Yes,
Of course, we cannot reveal his name until he has appeared in court.
yes.
But off the record, can we have his name so we can know how to look at
Yes,
it?
definitely, we'll give you that one.
Yeah, so when we get to court, we can just look at the rule.
Exactly. Now we'll give it to you right away. That's it. But again, also, last week we spoke about suspects on the 1.3 million. I can confirm here also that, yes, one suspect is arrested in one of the other regions outside Comas. Investigation will start. He's appearing in a particular region today, but soon he will come to Windu. So that is one of those movements that we are making in terms of the 1.3 million robbery that happens in the black chain. Net bank, black chain, yes. So we are really on track of these guys.
Are you able to reveal which region was he arrested?
It did not yet appear.
No, which region was he?
He was arrested in the Umasadi region. Yes. He was arrested in the Umasadi region. He's going to appear today in the Umasadi region. From there, at some point in time, he will be transferred to Windu.
Age?
Of the suspect. We don't have the age yet.
It's a male.
It's a male person, yes. One so far. Hopefully we will get others if there is others involved. There should be one or two. So if, around 4 or 5 of them is involved. If not, these others are probably also part of that, but we are trying to shift them, put them where they belong.
Was there money found on him?
Nothing found yet. Nothing found yet. Investigation will now start because information is also that you already bought some assets of some of this money. So we have to look at all those possibilities and see what we can trace. Obviously, you will not recover cash, but you can find assets having been bought. Animals, cars, houses, you name them. Yes. Yes, I also want to tell the public out there that we are, as much as we're having the robberies and crimes committed, probably because of a failure of prevention. It always depends mostly on our last line of defense, which is the investigators. So they are really very hard at work to uncover these robberies that we could not prevent. So I want us, the public out there, not to lose trust in the police. Yes, it's happening, but we are coming. Keep believing in us. Our mandate is to protect life and property. Investigation alleged crimes that have been committed. So the public should keep the trust in the police, national police for that matter. Having a lot of stakeholders, including the media, public out there, you name them. Together, we can make a difference. We can keep this Namibia safe. You can allow the investors to come in only if the environment is conducive. That is why we are here. We have some other robberies amongst this, not robberies, operations, where we had operation between Windhoek and Osiakutako, concentrating on some illegal transportations, stock theft cases, you name them, where we detect a lot of unlicensed, unroadworthy motor vehicles. So we are not just concentrating on one crime. We are inclusive of everything that comes in. Everything that has to do with crime is our baby. So the public out there is again warned to please make sure when they leave their houses, they are leaving their houses safely. Scan your environment. Criminals are out there to prey on would-be soft targets. So please let us not make ourselves available and targets to criminals, because criminals can only hit when there is an opportunity. There's a victim. That's when the criminal comes in. The victim must be there. There must be opportunity. Otherwise, if the opportunity is not there, there can be a victim, but there must be no opportunity. That's why you say, if you happen to transport a lot of money, if you happen to go wherever you go, don't go alone. If you go alone, make sure that you stay in open places, not in isolated. Don't find yourself in isolation, in the riverbeds, in the dark spots. Let's get out of that one and make sure that if something happens to me, there must be somebody that can notice and witness what is happening for possible identification of suspects. Thank you very much. That is the briefing for today. We shall always keep in touch. If there's something, please, you knock on the doors, and the doors will always be open. Anytime. Thank you very much.
And that is exactly what we're getting from the regional commander, Ishmael Basson, right there with regards to some of the crimes that were committed over the last week or so. It's exactly 22 minutes past the hour of 1 o'clock. You continue to listen to On the Radar right here on Eagle FM. We're going to be taking a short commercial break, and we'll be back with some more news.
Ouro mnangeshefa noahara kushigefa oma kuroye kupitira muhurike radio station ayo Eagle FM enya mukuro olongaha ningekwata fano na Monica kushikondosho ipindi konora hitatu imwe heali imwe ne heali imwe no hamano. That is 0817147116 Mwamberewa konora hetatu natu mbali o hetatu vatatu ne nola no natu ninge tumo emaila ku monica@eaglefm.com.na opomone oshijemo shiri nawa.
Eagle FM, the eye.
23 minutes past the hour of 1 o'clock. You continue to listen to On the Radar right here on Eagle FM. Still looking at the crimes that were committed over the weekend. Now, this is with regards to a Land Cruiser that belongs to the city of Windhoek, a fire brigade that was stolen and damaged over the weekend, particularly on Saturday. Now, one of the suspects who was found driving the car today made his appearance in court, while 3 others are believed to have escaped. On the line, I have my colleague, Rudolph Iyambo. Good afternoon, Rudolph. How are you doing?
Yeah, good afternoon, Andrew. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Now,
I'm good, thank you.
all right, that's great. Now, you were at the courts today in which this man made his appearance for his involvement in this particular crime or theft. Can you just give us what exactly was happening and what was said?
I'm here by Katutua Magistrate Court. The accused man, his name is Soi Maruleke. He was the one who was caught in possession with a stolen car that belonged to city of Windhoek. He was actually charged by the magistrate court, by Judge Arwindo Venasius on 2 accounts. One is driving under the influence of alcohol, and the second account was driving without a driving license. The accused man pleaded guilty in all judges. He said, according to him, he said he accepted that he was wrong. He pleaded to the court that he was just excited when one of his friends came with that Land Cruiser, and he took it for granted due to the fact that he did not drive a Land Cruiser before, and they were just in the street of Windhoek, Monica Street, which is in Greenwell. He took advantage of that. He picked up the car and he drove it. While he was driving, the police was already after him. So when apparently he saw the police, he got panicked. When he got panicked, he tried to run away with the car, and when he was now running away with the car, he lost control over the car and bumped a container. So he was arrested there at the spot. When he got arrested, the police actually tested him for alcohol, and his alcohol level was at 0.57. He was asked in the court, and he agreed that during that morning, the whole morning they were drinking. He cannot really remember how many cups of beer he had, but he said he drank for more than probably 5 beers. And so he was taken up by the police. He was taken to the city police office, and he was tested again for alcohol, and it gave the same results. So this man, he pleaded guilty in all these judges.
Right. Now, during the proceedings, was it revealed whether he has any connection to the suspects who actually stole the vehicle, or how did it come about that he got his hands on this vehicle?
According to him, he said he accepted that. I mean, he agreed that the vehicle was stolen, but he's not the one who stole the vehicle, and apparently who stole the vehicle is one of his friends who came with it. So when he saw a friend coming driving a Land Cruiser, he was so excited and he wanted to test it. So he just drove it, and it caught up with him because he was the one now to be found driving it. So to him, apparently it was just a ride. He just wanted to drive it.
Mm-hmm. But was he aware that this car is branded as the fire brigade police vehicle, and it likely belongs to it is a state property?
Yeah, he stated that he was aware of that, and he stated also that it was wrong for him to drive it, and in fact to drive without a driving license. But he said apparently it was not himself. He was so excited that he had an opportunity of driving a Land Cruiser, so he did not think about what is coming after it, consequence. So he just picked up the car and drive.
Very, very interesting, of course. Thank you very much, Rudolph, for giving us that update. Of course, we'll continue to get in touch with you and touch base with you in terms of what more exactly will be happening. Of course.
Let me probably just give the conviction now that he was. Yeah, he was just with the man now, Master Mureleke, is now being disqualified from not obtaining a driving license for the period of 12 months, which is 1 year. He's also being charged with the fine of 4,000 Namibian dollar for 8 months in prison for driving under the influence of alcohol, and is also being fined with the 1,000 Namibian dollar for 4 months in prison for driving without a driving license.
Mm-hmm. Now, is he been remanded or in custody, or has he been released? What is exactly happening?
No, he will remain in custody.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else that you would like to add?
No, it's on that, Andrew.
Okay. No, thank you very much, Rudolph. We'll touch base with you later once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrew.
Okay. And that is what we're getting from my colleague Rudolph there. I'm sure we were all following this story when it broke in the weekend of a Land Cruiser that belongs to the Fire Brigade department within the city of Windhoek. And this is quite an important vehicle that's used by the Fire Brigade in terms of dealing with any situation that happens when it comes to fire or rescuing residents. And what we're getting is that this particular individual that was caught with the vehicle was so excited to get his hands on a Land Cruiser that he decided to basically take it on a joyride. And that is what we're getting from the courts. Very, very interesting right there. It's exactly 30 minutes past the hour of 1 o'clock. You continue to listen to On the Radar right here on Eagle FM. We're going to be taking a short commercial break before we continue with the news. And do continue to tune in right here.
You always get more at Woermann Brock. Get 5 kilogram Top Score maize meal for only $49.99. 750 gram Kellogg's cornflakes for only $46.99. 2 kilogram Rice King parboiled rice for $28.99. And 750 gram Crofton Blackwell mayonnaise for $28.99. Woermann Brock, we care.
The Namibia Training Authority and the Ministry of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation, in partnership with the African Union and World Skills International, proudly presents World Skills Africa Swakopmund 2022. Join us at the Dome from the 28th of March to 2nd of April 2022 for this landmark showpiece for technical and vocational skills in Africa, as competitors from across the continent demonstrate their talents in 16 different trade categories, aspiring to the prestigious title of African Champion. World Skills Africa Swakopmund 2022 also includes an international conference and a careers exhibition, and is made possible through the support of its official event partners, the European Union and the German government. Join us as we leverage the importance of technical and vocational skills. Unite with us as we build skills for Africa.
To our valued listeners and all Namibians, we are living in unprecedented times which have seen some extraordinary steps being taken, some of which have suspended the most basic of human rights.
And this is because for the first time ever since our country won its independence, we have been hit by a dangerous virus, which is a threat to our livelihoods, the COVID-19.
The situation calls for us not to panic, but to work together and eradicate the spread of the virus. At Eagle FM, we urge you to always wash your hands with soap or use hand sanitizers,
limit or avoid travel, and respect our laws and obey authority.
We have the answer, and we will fight this the Namibian way. As Namibians, together as one Namibia, one nation. Let's stand together against COVID-19.
Exactly 27 minutes to the hour of 2 o'clock. You continue to listen to On the Radar right here on Eagle FM. Now, last week, we saw the police Inspector General Sebastian Ndeitunga confirming that he had sent the police chief inspector, Christina van Dumen Dafonchesk, to the Ohangwena region to meet with pastors of fake churches. This is in terms of dealing with certain pastors that have been accused of running fake churches in the northern regions. And on the line, we have Pastor Leonard Ntinda, who says that he has been accused, or his churches have been accused of being one of these fake churches. Good afternoon, Pastor Leonard. How are you doing?
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, good afternoon, Pastor Leonard. Can you hear me?
You can hear me now?
Yes, I can. We can hear you clearly. Can you hear me?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Are you able to hear me? Hello? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, great. Yes, your churches have also been part of this whole situation when it comes to the police trying to deal with this whole issue of the fake pastors and fake churches that some in the community have said are targeting vulnerable people. Can you just tell us what exactly has been happening and how has this affected your church in particular?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear?
Hello?
Okay, did you get my question? Okay. Yes, my question was that, of course, the police have now gone into the northern regions, targeting fake churches, these churches that have been accused of manipulating and targeting the vulnerable members of the community. Can you just speak to us in terms of how this has affected your church in particular?
Thank you for your time. One of the things is that they, in my situation, they came to my branch. We have many branches, and they came to our branch. They didn't find any leader or any pastor. They make a meeting in one of the village, and they just ordered it to be closed with no reason.
Mm-hmm. And when was this, and what exactly happened in that situation? What are you hearing from your church members who are on the ground?
Yes, that was about I think last I'd say last week or the other week. Last week. I received a call. I was in the funeral. My pastor wasn't there, either my elders. But when I follow up, I call for a second, Christine for a second. I call her that night because I came late, about 1:00 in night. I called her and she said that she confirmed. She called the church. She might be closed. I asked why. She was not explaining, just talking many things and like the member is very angry. And I said, listen, the church, number one, there was no our elder there. There was no pastors. There was no leader. And the branch there, it had been there since 95. That's 25 years ago. The pastor was there first, retired, is an old man. First he used to do it in a tree for many years. It's now that I think last year I put a temporary structure. And I thought he said, allegations that he said, we come our church make a noise. And I prophesy people about witchcraft. And she said that we also sleep on the church there. Now, all this allegation, because number one, they have no instrument. We don't sleep there. Number two, our pastor go there only Sunday, and they gather also, I think, once a week, just Bible study. And the church is far in Oshana, far from the houses. Even if you talk, just talking or shouting, nobody can hear you. I don't know now how our church make a noise, which kind of noise. And sleeping there, people they didn't sleep there. They only went on a New Year. This last year is the first time they're making a New Year since all these years. They just to make a New Year, which we go there until 12, and then we go home. But there are cooker shop there. Even cooker shop, we hardly hear their sound when they are bar. But our church, I don't know how can they hear noise when there's no instrument, when there's no nothing, and the people are not many. There might be 30 people or so. So that's why I asked her why, and she didn't want to listen. So I went further. I went to the chief. The chief said no. The Fosika only came here with the police. I don't know who called her, and it's my village. I was informed. I was called a meeting. But later they ask if the church was Shiva church, and they say yes. And they ask if we pray night. They say no. If they do profess, they say no. But end up they say no. Those churches are the same as we close. Then I went to the secretary of the village, the lady. I asked who called the police and why we are called churches will be closed. And she said she doesn't know. She says she's people in the communities. Who are those ones? On a further investigation, I asked her. She said there's a problem with one of the ladies from our church. This are things from home. That which they end up now become issue of the church. I said, no, you can't mix things. The church and the home things are different because they are neighbor. Because I leader from my church. So from there, I told the member we can't close the church. Number one, there's no letter. Number two, there's no paper. It's allegation. Number three, they never come to us or called us. That's why we stop. You know, stop. I said, must continue gathering. Even she said it must be closed.
Okay, and now in terms of, we have seen some churches or some maybe before I go to that, what denomination is your church?
You say what?
What denomination is your church? Is it a Pentecostal or what kind of?
The Pentecostal, but personal myself, I have been a chairperson of SPCN Northern. We are the one fighting against fakeness and so forth, and help teachers to be right proper. And shocking wise, we are not on do all those things people they are saying. We are more on Pentecostal. Just believe on the word of God, pray for the people, cast out demon if it's necessary. If it's there, that's it. But again, we don't do those things which they were saying.
Mm-hmm. Now, we've also seen in recent reports of pastors abusing maybe some of the power that they have over their congregation. We saw in the Kavango region a pastor impregnating a number of his congregation, and we even saw a few years ago a pastor even convincing some of his church members or his flock to sell their house and give the money to him. How do you think where does the balance come in? And do you think churches such as yourself, the one you're saying that your church doesn't do those things, do you think those churches who are then not doing these things should work hand in hand with the police in terms of tackling some of these issues?
The issue here is that if a pastor is doing that, so a state pastor must be called for order. I'm not supporting of those who are doing those things. I'm not supporting. I'm even fighting against that such a thing. I'm fighting against falsehood and false prophet a lot. The people know me in November and know me the whole know. They know me very well. But I would say, I would advise that if there's a problem with a pastor who do that, who do frowning people, he must be called to order. Must leave the church. Why I'm saying so is because we are seeing this problem both in Lutheran Church, both in Catholic, in other churches. But even recently, we've seen a report where a recent pastor raped a child, but they can't say a recent church must be closed. The problem of this country is that they attack the other church every time, but they only call it the pastor who's wrong. The other last year again, the issue of a pastor where allegation he sleep with sodomized boys, but they didn't call the church; they only called the pastor. To me, I would say, if any pastor who is implicated in an issue, they must be called to order and leave it alone. To give an example, say, we have an issue of fish lot in this country where swap was implicated, and they say you don't swap, they call all individual. Now, why didn't close the party because his name is mentioned in there? What I say is that if anybody is guilty, he must be on call, not call the church. Fonseca is doing the biggest error and scandals and mistake to close a church because we are helping the community and the police. I would say the police work hand in hand with the church. Why? We are discipling people, we are helping them to go out of the line of the wrong lane, and they're also helping other side. But my point, they must also investigate thoroughly. They must sit with people thoroughly because they'll end up doing a biggest mistake. And they'll cause more havoc when it's necessary. Number when they see a church called Osiveva or Revival Church, immediately they want to close it. That's what name. When they say a name called Revival, immediately they want to close the church. That's how they are. I also quote from the general of the police. They Tunga recently say something in the air. I saw it there and clip. You can see the anger of a judge with no reason. To me, I would say it, we have a church in our country, the Lutheran Church, Anglican, Catholic, and all churches, independent churches. We are all church. But if there's a problem in any specific church or any pastor, to me, I would say they must call that pastor. In Kabango example, where you mentioned, they must call the person who do wrong. That person is wrong. Is a fraudster, not a pastor. Because the person do that. Is a fraudster must be called to order. Locked up, he can be locked up. If found guilty, he must pay the price. That's what I want to say on that issue.
Okay, that's right. Thank you very much. We get it. We get what you're saying, and thank you very much, Pastor Leonard Ntinda, for coming through and just to speak with Eagle FM.
To say, please, thank you very much.
All right. Okay, thank you. Have a good day. And that is what we are getting right there from Pastor Leonard Ndita, who is saying that his church has been targeted by the police. Now, Ndeitunga, the police Inspector General, last week dispatched Dafonchesk, who heads the Commerce Region's Community Policing Department, to the region. Now, Dafonchesk is known for arresting self-proclaimed traditional doctors and prophets in the Windhoek's informal settlement. And Ndeitunga said that she would assist members of the community to deal with the said churches. Some families are divided due to these fake churches, which are demon-possessed, he says. And Ndeitunga also said that he has received reports of officers attending fake churches and then accusing their colleagues of being witches. The issue of fake churches, Justicia, I have my colleague in studio, Justicia. The issue of fake churches, sorry to just barge in with you like that, but unfortunately we have to discuss this. It's very interesting because, how does one determine what is a fake church and what is a real church? Of course, we know there are those things where pastors make their congregation, do some very questionable things. Some have even fathered a number of kids with their own congregation. But, it's sometimes you have to say, okay, which one is fake and which one is real? Because when you actually open your Bible and you read, you see some of these questionable things even being done by these. For example, David himself got I think this is the pastor calling us back. We'll just take his call later on. But we've seen even in the Bible with the David getting quite a number of women pregnant and organizing the death of an individual just because he is lusting after his wife. We saw Samson, who was called a servant of God, falling to lust. So this question of fake churches, how does one balance what is a fake church and what is not a fake church?
I don't think you can establish what is not, or maybe there are factors that one can look at to see which is a fake church and which one is standing for or what it stands for, which is preaching the word of God. But of course, there would be signs like what we have seen back in the years. I don't know if you have known this, where there was a lady who had to sell her house and give all the money she had to the church. So those, because the house was being seen as an evil or object, and she can't live in that house, and all that. So there are signs when it comes to seeing that this is not a church that stands for me believing in the word of God or preaching the word of God. It's merely for them to benefit from me or to manipulate what I already have or what I have already worked for. So it it is just in terms of how can one see it, because you can turn a blind eye to that. I mean, someone comes to you and tells you that, oh, the Lord says this, the Lord says that. If you're wearing a pants, the Lord doesn't like you, and you are so gullible and you want to be liked by the Lord. So it's this small things that one should look at when it comes to churches approaching you, or an individual such as a pastor and usher in the church approaching you in terms of your property as well as your stuff, and then only can you determine if this is a church I really want to go to or not. But also the community also plays a role. Say, for example, you are living in a neighbor where, or your neighbors or your family drives you to that church, and there's no way that you can go out, or you totally believe in what they are saying. It's like you turn a blind eye to whatever is
Everything
happening
else,
around you. So there's so many things that one can look at in terms of determining whether this is a real church or a fake church. I mean, we have seen also the churches before the new churches that they call, they have a certain name for the churches, just that I
The
forgot.
Pentecostals and the Shivevas and all
or
these other
Shiveva churches that they say now came into play. We have seen that also the churches that have been existing, that they start doing these certain things like committing adultery and rape, and now you also start to question certain things. So it's a whole debate that needs to be spoken about.
Now, of course, I have to agree with we're speaking to Pastor Leonard there. To a degree, I have to agree with the point that he was making, that I don't know, there's been this report for many, many years, in fact, for decades within the Catholic Church, for one, in terms of the pedophilia and the abuse of small boys in those in that particular denomination. And we've never seen the Catholic Church being targeted by the police in any regard. And but at the same time, we've seen churches where that have never been targeted, but yet the pastors, I don't know if you've ever seen this pastors' rich list in America. Some of these are multi-millionaires, and it's money that they make off their congregation. They live in massive houses and mansions, yet their congregants or their flock are living in abject poverty. But someone will take their last $1, their last $100, and will give to this pastor just because they want to tap into his anointing or become blessed. So, some of these things are quite complex, and you don't really know how do you then balance it. Of course, as the police, you look at what reports you are getting on the ground, and you have to make a choice on that time in terms of whether to close this church or to close that church. I've seen reports in Rwanda. I don't know if these are unverified reports, or I haven't really gone deep into it. I think maybe Kelvin might have gone deeper into it. I know he's very, when it comes to the Pan-Africanism and all these other things, he's quite deep into that. But I know in Rwanda, the Paul Kagame is alleged or is known to have, really gone deep into this pastors thing and closing down a lot of churches. So, it's very interesting, what we're getting right there. It's 8 minutes to the hour of 2 o'clock. Do give us a call right here in studio for your thoughts and opinions in terms of some of the items with the police and the churches that we are getting right here. 083-288-401. That's the number to reach us right here in studio. In the meantime, we're going to be taking a short commercial break, and we'll be back with some more.
After months of elbow high fives, turn up the vibes with Toffel Radler. It's beer, but extra. Buy any Toffel Radler today and taste extra flavor. Not for persons under the age of 18. Enjoy responsibly.
Very good morning again. We want to brief the public out there and show.
Commander-in-Chief of Namibia Revolutionary Transport Union, Peterson Kambinda, says that Snyman Transport is failing to recognize them as a union, and that Trans-Desert Logistics is also coming up with tactics to delay the process in signing an agreement to recognize the union in their company.
Those capitalists who enjoy oppressing and mistreating workers are the ones to recognize Naretu as the bargaining agent for workers by resorting into delaying tactics, spree to avoid entering into agreement with the union even after the union meeting all legal requirements stipulated in Section 64 of Namibia Labour Act, Act 11 of 2007. Some companies resorted on dismissing our members unprocedurally. Let me narrate just 2 companies for the nation to get the picture of what is frustrating our members. Number 1, who might be able to think that maybe they are a mini god of transport industry in our country, Sneyman Transport. This company, as we speak, we asked them after our application, which we made last year in September. We asked them, how many employees do you have? And they told us that they have 184 employees. Out of the 184 employees, Naretu have more than 100 employees. According to the Labour Act, what is required for a union to be able to be recognized in that specific company is that the union needed to have 50 plus 1, which is a majority. So out of the 184 of the employees at Sneyman, mind you that 184, it includes managerials. So even out of that one, what Naretu needs, it is 92 of that, it makes half. When you add 1 person onto that, that makes it majority, which make it that 93. Now, when a union have 93 members into Sneyman, there is no reason for Sneyman for them to be able to deny recognition, the union, recognizing the union. So that is what the law requires. We have been fighting Sneyman from last year, September. And up to now, all what they have been, what he was trying is that they went on firing people. When they realized that we have the majority, what did they do next? They started firing our members in order to reduce the majority. But then when the majority, they were thinking that we will not be able to get right. But we continued doing recruitment. And then we still resubmitted the forms, but they kept on denying us the recognition and trying all the delaying tactics which they can get. Even as we speak today now here, Sneyman have applied to get lawyers. He have changed lawyer one time and they changed again another one, which we are going to be facing again at the Labour Commissioner on the 16th of this month. We are going still to be facing them. They are trying their utmost best. The law is clear. It says that if the union got majority, they have applied as per the forms which is being provided by the law, it needs to be recognized. But then he kept on, they are keeping on delaying. That is one, and it's not only Sneyman alone. There is also other company. But we are just giving you 2 sides of different types of problems we are facing. Another one is Trans-Desert Logistics. This company, we got majority with them last year. We applied, and after our application, this company on the 6th of October, no, that is TDL. Trans-Desert on the 5th of November, they gave us the recognition that yes, Naretu, you have the majority. Here is the recognition. Then the next step is for us to be able to sign the recognition agreement itself now. This is the document which regulates the relationship between the union and the company. But what they have done, after that we negotiated this thing almost about 10 to 15 days. By the 20th of November, we reached already an agreement. Then what is supposed to be able to happen from there onward is for us to sign that agreement. But then what they did, they kept on delaying the signing of the agreement. They kept on delaying. Every time we said, let us set a date. They set the date, but comes that date, they postponed the date. They set again another date. Come that date, they postponed. We went the last day, which we were supposed to sign this agreement was 28 December 2021. It's the last date which we were supposed to sign this agreement. But comes that date, they said, no, we are having an emergency. Can you be able to give us time for us we are going to sign the second week of January? Because we wanted to build a relationship, we agreed that we will come and sign on the 2nd of January, the second week of January. Second week of January, we called them, can we come and sign? They said, we will come back to you. What they did between November and December, what they did is that they went and borrowed a strategy from Sneyman of firing still people to reduce the majority. They kept on firing people, but what we know is that they fired 6 people. But when we knew that they are busy firing, whoever they were replacing with, we recruited them. And then comes the second week of January this year, while we were waiting now for the date to go and sign the agreement, we received a notice from them to say that you have 90 days for you to be able to recruit the people because you are no longer having a majority. And if you don't, comes 9 April, that notice which we initially gave you, it's going to expire. But what we did that time, we submitted back to them 9 forms. They fired 6, as we recruited 6. We resubmitted 9 forms to tell them, now we have the majority. Can we sign? What they did, that same week, they terminated contracts of some people again, and one they put on suspension. They told us, we called, no, let us go for a meeting. We went for a meeting. At that meeting, they told us, you are short of 1 person, so we cannot be able to recognize you. What we did, that same day we came back, we sent them again 1 form that same day, that 1 person which we are short of, here is the form. Now set a date for signature. But that time when we sent the form, they went and responded that we have until 9 April. We can even be able to respond to you on 9 April. So all of this, it can be able to be seen by each and everyone that it is unfair labor practices. And they just, for the same reason that they just don't want to be able to recognize the union, and they are just trying to do delaying tactics. And all of these things, the members, unfortunately, they got enough of it.
Eagle FM also spoke to some of the truck drivers, and they raised their concerns regarding their working conditions.
No, the work condition about us, we say is better, but the problem are the people, they don't want respect the driver. Is that a problem, what we have? Even like me, myself, I have my contract was give me the provision contract, but when the end of the end of 3 months end up, they don't do anything. When I go to ask them, they don't respond to me. Is that thing you have what you have? When is that thing give us a stress? Is that thing about the money is a problem, and for the work condition for driver is a big problem. They give us a stress. After stress, we can be casing the accident on the road. Because if I were driving with a depression, it's not so good.
Another truck driver, Faustino Santos, says that they are being forced to get vaccinated.
In this environment we are, and this environment where you are, we are struggling with everything, especially like now since this disease came. So our boss is demanding us to be vaccinated by force. So where it is in Namibia, there's not that kind of law which say that people must be vaccinated by force. Office is a demanded no. And the other thing is we don't understand why our boss is doing this kind of things. Because when we are driving in foreign countries, we used to pay for the COVID-19. So as usual. So he's trying to refuse. You want to use that excuse of that Namibians, we can come once we are vaccinated without paying. So you want to save that money when you are coming from our own country. So what we are not happy about it. So the second thing is about when you are trying to ask your leave days. So you have to have a war with your company. We have to fight, unless you won't get those days if you are not putting more force in about it. What the law is clear. anybody's free to take your leave when is your time. So we know, we as drivers, we can put a notice for a month. For when that month come for a notice, then you can cancel. No, it's not, your leave is not approved. So as a human being, we have time. We need to do also things because we are not only working for ourselves. We are working for families. So if we don't get that chance to go get leave.
My name is Steven Mccurry. I was also a former truck driver for Transdesert. So let me say I started September last year because of I'm hard worker. My job is 100%. What happened now to my situations? The company itself, they see that I'm letting other comrades or other Namibian driver to know their rights in the company. They started to victimize me every time they are behind me. Then after they ending my contract because they doesn't want clever people in their company. But I didn't done any criminal things. But when you look on it, they just keep on forcing me. I have to sign a contract whereby I say I doesn't want to sign whatever you decide. So on that way, I say, me, I'm a truck driver. I need to go read what you want me to sign. Then they told me that, no, you have to sign so that we can pay you money. Then I realized that there is something which is this on these under papers, what they did. So I told them, me, I have my lawyer. Give me the paper to go read and verify what is in there. They threatening me that if you cannot sign, you won't get your money. I say, it's fine, but I'll come with my lawyer. Then ending there is where I took the paper. It came the following morning, and it's where we went with our CIC and deputy CIC to solve the problem. But they didn't even allow us or to give us green light, whereby the owner of the company started to behave like he doesn't have respect. And this country, like we doesn't have laws, whereby he act differently. Where we end there, the moment we left the place, is where he pay their money in the account without signing anything. After they still continue firing our comrades or our members. Until today, they are using their own laws, which is they are practicing in their company. But it's not free to the worker to work on the place whereby you are telling workers, you cannot be clever on the working place. If you are clever, I have to fire you. That things is make us not free to our own country, which is independence. We are not free at the working place. The owner of the company, they are busy fighting us. Like us, our forefather, they were fighting for this. But today, in a peace country, still, the owner of the company, they are still fighting with us.
In this vein, Naretu has given the Namibia Employers Federation 14 days to get its members in order, and failure to do so will then result into a national strike. And Naretu says that this strike will be a collective refusal by employees to work under harsh conditions that they are subjected to by their employees. Now, Naretu also adds that they have been taken advantage of, and they are demanding that it's high time a job become a job and not just some type of colonial activity. Kambinda further added that the capitalist system in which a terminal, systematic and structural crisis have been prompt to workers with energy, bravery, enthusiasm to condemn all such ill practices. Now they fully understand that the consequences of this and its outcomes, but they say that they cannot sit idle and allow employers to continue violating the rights of employees. However, Snyman Transport has put out a notice that the threatened illegal strike action against the union, that's the Naretu Transport Union, and they say that all employers and employees and union are alike and have obligation to comply fully with the Namibian Labour Act number 11 of 2007, and that the Namibian Labour Act of 2007 has specific disputes regarding resolution processes. It is in this vein that Snyman Transport Union has urged all employees who participate in any illegal industrial action must and will face consequences of their illegal actions, and where the union does not have majority representation, all employees are invited to choose from their numbers of representatives and resolve negotiations with the employer on behalf of the employees, and that the chosen representative is invited to set a date and time to meet with the employer to resolve all disputes that are in the matter. Now, Snyman Seka also added that the union does not represent majority numbers of the union members and are urged to ensure that their union does not comply with the Namibian Act, Labor Act number 11 of 2007 at all times, that the members' employment and remuneration are not at risk. They also added that failure for employees to do this, they would control or to control their behavior in order to avoid any illegal activities. Now, that is in regards to the strike that Nareto has pushed forth if the federation does not come in hand and put its members into order, and therefore the Snyman Circle says they will have to possible consequences on the company holding, and all employees are fully responsible and accountable for any or all losses that are in this matter, and all employees are therefore urged to fully comply with the Namibian Labor Act and immediately cease any illegal activities that they plan on taking. Now, that is what we're getting from the Transport Union. It's exactly 9 minutes past the hour of 2. We're going to take a short commercial break and we'll be back with more news. But do feel free to contact us in studio and contribute to our news bulletins on 083 288 401.
Want to win something special for you and your partners? Or just spoil yourself on this special day? Then treat yourself this Valentine's Day by winning your share of 2,000 Namibian dollars in Burman Brock vouchers. That's right, we're giving away 4 500 Namibian dollars shopping vouchers to 4 lucky winners. How to enter? SMS the word LOVE, including your name and town, to 1040. Winners will be announced on the 14th of February 2022 at 2 p.m. SMS cost 5 Namibian dollars. Terms and conditions apply.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yes,
What is that?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine. I have 2 points, but let me first contribute to the issue of the theft of sport vehicle.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
If I said well, you said that the boy was, or the man was only charged with 2 charges, right?
Yes, he was.
According to my little knowledge of the criminal law, I think he was even supposed to be charged with 5 charges.
Mm-hmm.
The obvious one was supposed to be theft of motor vehicle. The second one was supposed to be reckless and negligent driving. The third one was supposed to be driving the motor vehicle under the intoxicating substance, and then driving the motor vehicle without a license. And the fourth one, reckless and negligent driving. Although I'm not blaming magistrate. I don't know which criteria I used to only charge him with 2 charges, but obviously, in the normal circumstances, those were the charges supposed to be thrown at him. Probably is one of the lucky guys just to go away with the 2 charges.
But I don't think they could pin the theft on him because he's not, allegedly, he's not the one who stole the vehicle. He was only in possession, he was only found driving it.
Oh, so he's not the one who stole the vehicle?
Yeah, the ones who are now suspected to have actually stolen the vehicle apparently got away.
And then he was driving it, and then he was supposed to be added driving a motor vehicle without owner's consent.
Mm.
Yeah, that's another charge. Okay, let me comment on the churches.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether the chief inspector was also conducted to give a side of the story, because in the most of cases that if you only hear from one side, there's always a chance that a person can be able to defend him or herself without necessarily to gain fully picture of the whole thing.
Of course.
That's why I think it could have been better for the listeners, us, to hear from both sides, to hear what the chief inspector is saying. Probably if you could have conducted it, or someone could have conducted here on that issue, could have a different picture.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all what I have to say.
Okay, thank you very much for coming through.
Thank you.
And that is exactly what we're getting. And of course, this is a developing story, and we will be able to touch base with the police as well. Good afternoon. We lost that caller, but do feel free to come through and give your thoughts and opinions on 0832888401. Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine.
Mm.
On the issue of church,
Yes.
yeah, I think if the police, they realize that or they are on the side of the nation, they realize that the church, some of them are doing things like taking the money and they do all wrong things from the nation. There is a question there, and they raise a concern which was raised by the pastor that you have interviewed. He mentioned one pastor or many pastors from the other churches who even was prosecuted with a case of rape, and in that matter they were raping the minors, but their church, those churches were not ordered to close.
Mm-hmm.
The question is why? And the other issue, if the police, we are not complaining, we are not condemning their action. If it is in a good or benefit of the nation, we are supporting it. But there are so many things which are happening in the nation, but they are just watching. They are not even saying anything. Start from the resources of the nation. And we have different business people here in Namibia who are mistreating people, paying them peanut butter. But why not police officers are not commanded to go and close those business also, to do the same as they are doing to the church? We are not saying they must leave the church. We are not saying the people who are wrong must be left. You know, if the person is wrong, it's just wrong. But the police must take action to anything which is not good in the nation. We have people who are misusing the public funds. They must also be called to order by police officers not to leave things like that. So I think I will support. I'm fully supporting their action. But my argument is that it should be done to all the people who are mistreating the nation.
Mm-hmm.
We even not even your last story was talking about those truck drivers mistreated by the company.
Mm-hmm.
Are the police not hearing those things? Is they are not commanded to go and close those business of the truck drivers? So we should treat people equally. This is a democracy country which is ruled by, they call it it's a sovereign state or whatever. So people should be treated equally. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Thank you very much for coming through. That is what we're getting from the caller right there. It's 17 minutes past the hour of 1 o'clock, and or rather 2 o'clock, excuse me. You continue to listen to On the Radar right here on Eagle FM. Of course, later on in the day, we'll be having President, or rather the Vice President, Nangolo Mbuba, giving his take on the new regulations or what we can expect with regards to the COVID-19 situation at 3 o'clock. And I believe we'll be able to stream and follow that right here on Eagle FM. And of course, today is the 14th of February, which is Valentine's Day. Many people are in love and, of course, following this day. And in this regard, my colleague Valde had this report for us.
Most Namibian viewers prefer to watch either South African content or other African TV shows and reality shows over their own. The question is why? Laudika Amtenya believes it's because there is no enough content produced by local artists or local filmmakers for the Namibian viewers to view their own local content. He believes it's the responsibilities of Namibian filmmakers to avail enough content to give viewers a variety of options to choose from. That's how he then decided to create a Namibian dating reality show called Kapana Spice. The Kapana Spice will be launched today. That's 14 Valentine's February 2022. Eagle FM conducted an interview to find out more about the show itself and then just his views on the whole film industry in Namibia.
Yeah, so basically Kapana Spice is it's an Namibian dating show. It's basically we bring two strangers on a blind date, and then we sort of put them in front of each other. We blindfold them, and then as soon as the camera starts rolling, they remove their blindfold and they see each other for the first time, and then in front of them are 6 hot sauces that get spicier after. So there are 6 hot sauces in front of them, and a packet of kapana. So they are tasked to ask each other about six questions, and after every question, they dab into a hot sauce that gets spicier as the questions themselves get even more spicier. Basically, we take something that we consider as Namibian, which is kapana, and we sort of bring these 2 strangers to sort of try to impress each other while their tongues are basically burning from the chili sauce.
Oh, that's very creative. May you please tell me who the founder is and what is the whole motive behind, the inspiration behind?
You mean the founder of the show or the founder of the company that runs the show?
So, where do we expect to view the episodes of the reality show?
So the show is gonna be on YouTube. It's on YouTube on a YouTube channel called Elegant TV, which is basically owned by the company that runs the show. The company is called Elegant Media Group, and we do advertising, which should advertising, graphic design, and as well as digital marketing. Sorry. So these are our first ever reality show that we're doing, and we wanted to put it on our own platform. That's called Elegant TV. I myself, Laudika Mutenyi, I'm the creator of the show, but the company Elegant Media sort of controls and runs the whole show itself. I hope that answers the question. Yeah.
Interesting. So, how often do we expect to get pieces or episodes of the end?
So basically,
how long is it?
Okay. Yes, thank you. So basically, the episode we will drop tonight at 6 p.m. On Valentine's Day, and then we are gonna have basically every episode. One episode for the next 7 weeks. Every Monday for the next 7 weeks. So that'll be 15-minute episodes. For the next 7 weeks every Monday, as well as short teasers every Friday. Every Friday we will have short teasers of the next episode that's coming. This will be dropped both on YouTube as well as our different social media pages like Instagram, TikTok, as well as Facebook and Twitter. So yeah, so the teasers will be dropped on social media like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, whereas the full episodes will be dropped every Monday on the YouTube channel.
Tell me what the challenges are like whilst shooting and then producing the show. What is it that you've met?
Yeah, we made a lot of challenges shooting this show because we're supposed to shoot the show last year in November already, but COVID happened and we didn't want to put anybody at risk. We're like, let's move it to let's see how the COVID thing comes, and then hopefully maybe we'll shoot as soon as things are calming down. But things going to come down around December, I believe, and most people were already traveling to direct their homes to the north or going to weddings or whatever. So people weren't really in Windhoek around December. So that got shooted again in January. But by the time we started shooting it again, the people that we asked last year to come, the contestants that we asked last year to come on the show, a lot of them ended up dropping out, or they're not just not answering their phones anymore. So meaning that we had to look for like some new people or people that had partners, but their partners dropped us. We had to find like new partners for them, and everything was so like last minute that we had to like really rush when it comes to look for new partners. And also the other thing was I mean it's a show that's based on Kapana, but Kapana spice, but Kapana spice and sauce. But unfortunately, we only have 3 cameras, and those 3 cameras were mostly only focusing on the people. So that's the one wide shot that had both the contestants in shot, and then we have like 2 over the shoulders that shows like close-ups of the people. And unfortunately, we didn't have a 4th camera that was focusing on the food, which is an important part of the show. So that's one challenge that we had. We had to figure out exactly how do we incorporate the food into this if we can actually show it, which is a challenge that we couldn't really figure out because we didn't have enough equipment, and production we didn't have enough budget to have at least 4 cameras. I think for season 2, that's something that we are fixing, and we are sort of getting at least 2 more cameras to at least have more angles to shoot and be able to show the food as well.
So you would say equipment and human resource were a bit hindering here, and the whole COVID-19 issue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the whole COVID-19 issue.
Why did you choose the 14th February? Why on the Valentine's Day?
Because I think it's a perfect day. It's a perfect day, and I think it's something that we never really planned when we started developing the show last year. Then this year, because there were so many things that went wrong, we finished shooting at the end of in mid-January. We were done shooting, and we were like, okay, so now this is going to be a perfect opportunity to drop it in a perfect date that works for us. And we felt like Valentine's Day is a day of love. Kapana Spice show is a show about finding love, and I think it just works perfectly for us. And I mean, I'm sure we hope it's a type of show that two people already love, or somebody was looking for love, or want to watch, and on a day that's considered a romantic day, at least we hope.
Tell me, what is the support like from the stakeholders, maybe like National Arts Council or the Namibian Film Commission? Are they coming?
No, they haven't really. Because right now, what we wanted to do right now is we wanted to fund it and shoot it ourselves and have proof of this and make it good enough so we have proof that this is a good show. And then when we decide to go to stakeholders, then we have proof that this is what we have done. It's a good show and it's already with enough budget. Now we just want to have to make it even better with more budget and more help from you guys. That's kind of the plan right now. We want to use season 1 as like a pilot season, and then we start looking for like potential stakeholders and sponsors for like the later seasons.
As a filmmaker and then a script writer, what do you think should be? We all understand that our film industry is so quiet in Namibia. So what do you think we have to do collectively as a country, or the stakeholders have to do to make sure we bring it to life again?
Okay, so do you mind just repeating that again? Sorry.
It's a bit of quiet in our film industry in the country.
Yeah.
So what do you think should be done? Collectively, by us as Namibians, or by the film industry. I mean, the film industry itself, to make sure we are live again. We have movies running, we have films running, and all this kind of thing.
I think it's something we keep saying around our certain groups. We keep saying that I think content. We just need to create more and more content. And I think the major companies, the stakeholders, I think they shouldn't be afraid to find more Namibian content, because I feel like there is a lot of talent out there, and there is a lot of people that really want to say something and to tell stories, but it's kind of difficult to do so when the budget is so limited, and there's kind of like even with the people with the audience, there's kind of this sort of like
because we have even seen
that reputation that Namibian films have. Yeah, like Namibian projects have. Every time a Namibian project drops, people have negative connotation towards it. So they're always like, no, it's Namibian, I'm not going to watch it, or it's bad. And I think just because there isn't enough content to prove to them that it's not bad, it's good. And I feel like quality also comes with not only with the work you put in, but also with the resources that you have. And if there's not enough resources for us to make something good, then it's not gonna help, unfortunately.
Because we have even seen that Namibians now, most of the Namibians rather prefer to watch South African content, like maybe Date My Family, all the Nzanzi shows. What is your take on this?
I think, look, I think one of the major reasons why Namibians love South African shows is because it's the closest thing they have to watching something they can relate to. Because unfortunately, we don't have a lot of content in Namibia, and our people aren't really able to look at something and be able to relate to it. I mean, it's either the other thing they can watch is American shows or shows from Britain or international or Western shows. But unfortunately, there isn't a lot of African shows. But when the ones that are there are South Africans and Nigerian shows, and our people can relate to that because they see people that look like them, people that sound almost like them. So it's easy for them to watch and relate to those shows. And again, my point that the more content we make, the more our people can also start watching our own stuff, because they want to watch something they can relate to. So that's all they want. That's all these people want. And the entertainment comes from relatability. And when they start relatability, it makes it easier for more people to come, just from our country, to come and enjoy our shows. And maybe even one day we can make enough shows, good enough shows that travel around Africa, to the point that people in Angola or people in Botswana can watch shows from Namibia and also be able to relate to these shows themselves.
So what you mean to say, in other words, is it's a responsibility of the filmmakers to provide enough content to the audience.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And lastly, we've had other reality shows in Namibia. How are you different from what we have already? Why should I watch you as a Namibian?
Why should I watch? I think it's look. I'm not gonna say what we are doing is special or is better than what else is out there. I think it's just I think there's a certain specialness that comes when you're watching two people that they have never met before. They have never spoken before. They have never met before, and they're two Namibian people who have never met before, trying to find love from each other. And and also adding the fact that they're eating spicy food, so it's like the responsibility that they have. It's like you're already sitting in front of somebody and you're nervous and you want to impress them, but at the same time it's like your tongue is burning. You can barely talk. So we are trying sort of I think there's just something special about that, and also and I think that's just what works. And I think love is a universal theme, and I think everybody, most people, everybody. The reason why romantic stories are so popular back in the days, because people want to see people fall in love, and that's what we are trying to provide. Is we're trying to show two strangers coming together and trying to find some common ground, and hopefully that common ground leads them to somewhere.
Is there perhaps any last thing that you want to say, Laudeka, before I close of the show?
I would just love to let people know that they can go to tonight at 6 p.m. If they don't have much to do, even they have a lot to do, they should find time to sit down and watch Kapana Spice at Elegant TV YouTube channel. I think for those who have ever seen the trailer currently right now has about 9,000 views, or more than 9,000 views on YouTube alone, which I think is massive. So it shows that people are interested, people want to watch, and feel like if you can find 15 minutes of your time today, please sit down and check out Kapana's first episode, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
And that is exactly what we're getting right there, 33 minutes, or rather 27 minutes to the hour of 3 o'clock. You continue to listen to Eagle FM. And with that said, I will be signing out. Unfortunately, I'll not be able to take any new callers, but my colleagues will be taking over with the the whole love competition that has been going on for a while now. Continue to listen to Eagle FM. My colleague Sally will be taking over.